Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 90, and don't get mad at me because this video is going to come across as me trying to scare you into buying hearing aids and things like that. That is not the intent of this video, but you'll understand why I'm kind of qualifying that here early on in this week's particular vlog that we're doing. So, before I get into it, if you guys could do me a huge favor, you've been doing great. Give me a thumbs up on this video. Like I said before, it does encourage me making more videos just like this one, kind of give you more of a behind the scenes look at what's going on with my life, you know, professionally for the most part. But really what I want to get into today is this aspect of a supply chain shortage. Now, there are those of you out there who are very familiar that there's a supply chain shortage just worldwide due to the whole, virus thing. And, when you really look at it, it's affecting pretty much any industry that is out there. So if you're someone who just bought a house, the house market's going crazy, but if you bought a house or you just moved and you need to buy furniture or you need to buy appliances, there are some significant supply chain issues to where you might not be getting your furniture for quite some time at this point. And you're seeing it all over the place. I mean, vehicles, my Prius broke down and I really needed to get a new vehicle, and all the vehicles out there, all the used ones, I mean, super expensive for what they are actually worth, for what they were worth prior to this whole supply chain issue. And then of course new cars are non-existent. If you go and drive by any car lot, it seems like, well, where the heck are all the cars? There's no cars there because of the chip shortages. Well, guess what else uses these chips, these different, microprocessors and things like that? Hearing aids do. Hearing aids are basically computers that you wear in and or on your ears. And the supply chain issues has hit the hearing aid industry just like it's hit any other industry out there. And it doesn't just affect hearing aids, it affects hearing aid components, it affects supplies that you use with your hearing aids, it affects accessories that you use with your hearing aids. So what we're starting to see right now is that there is actually a shortage of these supplies and these devices, to the point where we're placing orders for devices and things like ear molds and wax traps, all of that, and they're just basically saying, well, those are on back order, or the parts that are used for those particular products are on back order. It's going to be a while. We don't really know when you can get those, and it's creating this issue where I don't know here going towards the end of the year. Now, just so you know, at least down here in Arizona, I can't speak for the rest of the entire country or world at this point, but towards the end of the year, we see an influx of individuals wanting to treat their hearing loss, whether it is to get new hearing aids, whether it is to treat their hearing loss for the very first time, as they go into at least the American holiday season at the end of the year, where families all get together, these family gatherings. We can do family gatherings now because last year was the whole virus thing. And what I think is going to happen is that we're going to get to that time of year and there is going to be a shortage of hearing devices, to the point where you go in and see your hearing care professional, your audiologist, your hearing instrument specialist, and you're going to be wanting to get new devices right in time, get them all fit and programmed perfectly right as you go into the holiday season. And they're going to say, well, we can order your devices for you, but we can fit you maybe sometime in February of next year. And I think this is a true thing that is actually going to happen. It might not happen with every single hearing aid out there, but there's going to be, in my opinion, some really popular hearing aids by several manufacturers that you're just not going to be able to get if you end up waiting till you get into really like November, December timeframe. I think it'll be months that you'll have to wait in order to get fit with those devices. At least in my clinic, it's already at the point where if someone needs something like custom ear molds, it's taking up to a month to get those particular ear molds into the clinic. And I do a lot of custom stuff because I think custom just allows me to program things better in a lot of cases, not every case, but we're telling patients, well, we can do your digital scans today and we can get you on my schedule, but you're going to be on my schedule in November. to come in and actually get treated for your hearing loss. And this is early, I mean, I guess I don't really know what the date is exactly. I think it's like early October, but this last week I was telling patients that who wanted to treat their hearing loss. I'm like, you're just gonna be waiting a while. And for individuals who have hearing aids already, it's not the end of the world. I mean, they can continue to use their devices. It might be the end of the world for certain techie individuals who really want that new tech that's out there, but particularly for individuals who've never treated their hearing loss before, they have their hearing loss and there's nothing that they can do about it until they can actually get their hearing devices. And this is also something, like I mentioned before, that it's not just the hearing devices that are affected. If you're someone who builds a lot of wax inside of your ears and your hearing aids functioning depends on you having clean wax traps in the tips of your hearing aids. Wax traps are those little, usually white little traps that you put in the tip of your hearing aid that blocks the wax from getting into the receiver. And then when they fill up or when they end up, getting blocked off with wax, you can go and use a little tool to remove the old one and replace it with a new one. Well, we have from several manufacturers different styles of wax traps on order. I'm talking a lot of them on order, and they're saying we have no idea when you're going to be able to get those. So not only will there be a shortage of it, but then you're going to start working into the supply and demand economics of it, to where the people who have them and they start going on eBay to selling them, the price of those things as we get further and further into this year or early next year, if there's still a shortage of those things are going to cost a ton of money, because you can't continue to use your hearing aids if you have them filled up with wax. You have to change the wax traps for the hearing aids to continue working. And you're going to be calling around the different audiology clinics, and they're all going to be like, well, we barely have enough for our patients, or we don't even have enough for our patients. We definitely can't help you get any. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting aspect as we kind of finish up this year and go into next year. Now, so you see what I'm saying about how this is going to come across to some of my critics, which I'm okay with that, as I'm trying to scare you or create an incentive or urgency behind getting treated now. Because, if you wait longer going into this year, I can guarantee you that you're going to run into some kind of issues if you want certain types of hearing aid technology. So if you even have a remote inkling that you want to be treated for your hearing loss, you had better get into see your hearing care professional. You don't have to come see me. You go to your hearing care professional and get your devices on order. And you might be lucky right now to where you can get tested and you can get fit within the next week or two. But the longer you wait, the less likelihood that you're going to actually be able to get fit with those devices. For instance, I'm going to give you a for instance here. You guys know, because I've been talking about it in my past vlogs, Lyric, right? So Lyric is that invisible in the canal hearing aid that you have a hearing care professional place it inside your ear canal, you leave it there for 2.5 months, only to go back into their clinic and have them exchange it for you. Well, we have correspondents saying that, hey, good news, the factory has reopened that produces that particular hearing aid. So you can, so that's good news. But the supplies that come from this other factory, they're still not in the factory yet because of the virus or whatever economic issues that they're having in those particular countries with those factories. And so even though the factory that assembles the devices is up and running, they don't even have the parts to build the hearing aids there. And I think that that is like the first, instance where I'm like, we might want to order some hearing aids from these manufacturers and actually have them in stock, because we know, my clinic, we go through hearing aids like crazy. We get patients in all the time who want to upgrade technology or who want to treat their hearing loss initially. And if we're basically saying we don't have any devices to even sell and we don't know when we're going to get them, we're going to find ourselves in a very questionable position And from my aspect of actually running a business, is that going to negatively impact my ability to keep my employees on staff when it's like, listen, we can service our existing patients who have hearing aids already, but that group of individuals that we typically have come in and get new treatment, they're just not going to be getting new treatment. It's going to be waiting list. It's going to be holding pattern of, okay, well, we'll treat you, but we don't know when we're going to treat you. So we actually made the decision, and towards the end of the year, you're looking for ways to try to cut down on taxes and stuff like that. So sometimes placing orders to get devices in the office that we can eventually fit patients with. It's a good way to spend some money, quite honestly, to get the tax burden down. But in this particular year, it's like, well, how much money can we scrape up to buy as many hearing aids as possible to get them in the clinic, so when people want to come in and get treatment, we actually have hearing aids to fit on their ears. And so we're actively looking at that right now and trying to calculate out, okay, if we went through a 3 to 4 month time period where supply chain was really an issue, could we pre-buy enough devices to at least satisfy the demand that will come into my particular clinic? And, part of me is like, man, should I even be making a video on this? Because what I think could potentially happen is that once this word gets out that there's obviously supply chain issues, I think every clinic is aware of it. The question will become is, will the clinics who can actually afford to buy units and keep them in stock be the ones who gobble up all the units and there's nothing left for anybody else? And I hesitate to do it because I don't want to create any kind of issues with hoarding based on the influence that I have inside of the profession, essentially, because there are some providers who watch my videos, probably a lot of providers to some degree who watch my videos, and I don't want to create that to happen. Plus, I want to be able to get devices too, but here I am talking about, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe everything will return back to normal, but economic forces, are in play here that we don't have a whole lot of control over. And I don't want to be kind of caught in a situation where I can't treat my patients with hearing aids, because the vast majority, and that's where I specialize, is treating adults with hearing aids. So that's really my plan. Definitely going to be supply chain issues. It is going to affect you if you are in the consideration phase of treating your hearing loss within the next 2 to 3 months, here towards the end of the year, when it's a really popular time for a lot of people to decide to do treatment. And a lot of people who want to do treatment but not a lot of hearing aids creates this supply-demand issue. I don't know if it'll affect prices of treatment. It totally could. I could see that happening. I don't necessarily think that will be a big thing, though. I don't think manufacturers are going to end up price gouging in terms of increasing the cost of their devices because there's a shortage of them. They don't want to upset their distribution channel, so they're not going to do that kind of thing. If you were to ask me, I just truly don't believe that they would do that. But we'll see. I think that really the problem it's going to create is an accessibility of getting treated. I don't think it'll have a huge impact on cost unless this literally goes for 6, 8, 12 months, something crazy like that, which, boy, I hope not, because there's no way I could afford to buy enough units of hearing aids and have them in my office and keep them in stock for that long. Plus, doing a lot of custom stuff anyway, to some degree, it wouldn't even matter. I mean, if we're 1 out of every 2 people that we treat has a custom component on their hearing aid, whether it's an actual custom hearing aid or a custom ear mold that goes on the tip of a hearing aid to make that hearing aid perform better. So I don't know what we're going to do if it comes down to that. We might be doing some legit temporary fittings on people to say, hey, like, we can get you hearing better, but not at your best until we can incorporate these different types of custom, products to your hearing aids. So that's kind of where I'm at. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you are on the fence of getting treated, I would urge you to continue on with your research. But once you've kind of you see the light of yeah, I'm going to have to treat my hearing loss, get in as soon as you possibly can to treat your hearing loss. Establish care with a provider. Even if it's you're not going to be able to get fit for another month or two, get your name in on that list of people who they're going to assign hearing aids to. And it really just depends on, the bigger clinics will probably have more access to keeping devices in stock, and smaller clinics probably won't. So just keep that in mind depending on what, city or town that you live in, okay? So hopefully this helps some of you guys out. If you like this video, like I mentioned before, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you next week.